In the depths of an ancient forest, shrouded in mist and forgotten by time, a solitary figure moved silently among the towering trees. The vampire known as Elias had roamed the earth for centuries, a creature of darkness cursed with immortality. His existence was marked by an unending thirst for blood and an eternity of solitude. Yet, within his hollow chest, a flicker of humanity remained, a distant memory of the man he once was. Elias's transformation had been neither voluntary nor welcomed. Born in a humble village, he had lived a simple life as a blacksmith, crafting tools and weapons for his neighbors. But his world was upended on a fateful night when a mysterious traveler arrived, cloaked in shadows and reeking of menace. The stranger, a vampire named Armand, had chosen Elias as his victim, draining him of life and condemning him to eternal darkness. Elias awoke to find himself transformed, his veins filled with an insatiable hunger and his heart devoid of warmth. For centuries, Elias wandered aimlessly, a predator in the night. He fed on the blood of the innocent, each life he took further eroding his spirit. He became a ghost, a whisper of fear in the wind, avoiding the company of both humans and his own kind. Other vampires reveled in their power, forming covens and indulging in decadence, but Elias found no solace in their company. He despised what he had become and the monster he was forced to be. One moonlit evening, as Elias prowled the outskirts of a small village, he stumbled upon a crumbling chapel. Drawn by an inexplicable pull, he entered the sacred space, his presence a blasphemy against the holy ground. Inside, he found a woman kneeling before an altar, her lips moving in silent prayer. Her name was Clara, and she radiated a quiet strength that captivated him. For reasons he could not explain, Elias chose not to harm her. Instead, he lingered in the shadows, listening to her prayers and observing her devotion. Clara's faith was unshakable, and her compassion extended even to the outcast and downtrodden. She had dedicated her life to caring for the sick and the poor, tending to their wounds and offering solace in their final moments. Elias found himself drawn to her light, though he dared not approach. He watched from afar, his heart aching with a longing he had not felt in centuries. Clara's kindness stirred something within him, a yearning to reclaim the humanity he had lost. As days turned into weeks, Elias's encounters with Clara became more frequent. He protected her from dangers she was unaware of, dispatching wolves that prowled too close and scaring off would-be attackers. Though she never saw him, Clara began to sense a presence watching over her, and she whispered her thanks into the night. One fateful evening, Clara was confronted by a group of bandits on the edge of the forest. They demanded her belongings and threatened her life. Before she could react, Elias emerged from the shadows, his eyes burning with fury. In a blur of motion, he subdued the attackers, his strength and speed leaving them no chance. When the last of the bandits fled, Clara turned to face her savior. For the first time, she saw Elias clearly, his pale complexion and piercing eyes betraying his supernatural nature. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. Elias hesitated, unsure how to respond. "A friend," he said at last. "You should not wander alone at night." Clara studied him, her gaze unflinching. "You saved me." "Why?" "Because you are worth saving," he replied, his voice tinged with sadness. Without another word, he disappeared into the forest, leaving Clara to ponder the enigma of her protector. In the days that followed, Clara sought to learn more about the mysterious figure who had come to her aid. She asked the villagers about him, but none could offer any answers. Undeterred, she began leaving small tokens of gratitude at the edge of the forest, a loaf of bread, a bottle of wine, a hand-stitched scarf. Elias found these offerings and was deeply moved by her gesture. For the first time in centuries, he felt a connection to another soul. Elias's bond with Clara grew stronger, though he maintained his distance. He began questioning his existence and the choices he had made. Was it possible to atone for the countless lives he had taken? Could he ever find redemption for the darkness that consumed him? Clara became his anchor, a beacon of hope in the vast sea of his despair. One night, unable to bear the weight of his guilt any longer, Elias revealed his true nature to Clara. He told her of his transformation, his endless torment, and the lives he had destroyed. He expected her to recoil in horror, but instead, she listened with compassion. When he finished, she reached out and placed a hand on his cheek, her touch warm against his cold skin. "You are not beyond redemption, Elias," she said. "We are all capable of change, no matter our past." Her words pierced his heart, igniting a spark of hope. Together, they devised a plan to help Elias resist his bloodlust and find a new purpose. Clara introduced him to her work, showing him how to care for the sick and comfort the dying. Though it was a painful and arduous process, Elias began to rediscover his humanity. He fed less frequently, choosing only to take what was necessary from those who were willing to give. Word of Elias's transformation spread among the supernatural community, drawing both curiosity and ire. Some vampires mocked him, while others saw his change as a threat to their way of life. Armand, the vampire who had turned Elias, viewed his redemption as a betrayal. He confronted Elias, warning him of the consequences of defying their nature. "You cannot escape what you are," Armand sneered. "You are a predator, and they are prey. That is the natural order." Elias met his gaze, unflinching. "Perhaps it is time for a new order," he said. "One where we choose to rise above our base instincts." Armand's laughter echoed through the night. "You are a fool, Elias. Redemption is a human concept, and we are far from human." Despite the opposition, Elias remained steadfast. He continued his work with Clara, his resolve growing stronger with each life he touched. Together, they became a symbol of hope for both humans and supernatural beings, proving that even in the darkest of times, redemption was possible. Years passed, and Elias's reputation as a protector and healer spread far and wide. He and Clara grew old together, their bond deepening into a love that transcended the boundaries of life and death. When Clara's time came, she passed peacefully in Elias's arms, her final words a testament to the light they had found in each other. Elias continued his journey, carrying Clara's memory as a guiding star. Though he remained a vampire, he had found a new purpose: to bring hope and healing to those in need. His path was not an easy one, but it was a journey worth taking. And in the end, Elias discovered that redemption was not a destination, but a choice, one he made every day as he walked the line between darkness and light.